Father Semiski, fellow honorees, family members of the honorees, class reunion attendees, students, faculty, and other distinguished guests. Most of what Sandy just said is true. You have to figure out where the hyperbole was. But I'm thrilled and honored that Sandy was able to do this because he is one of the only athletes that played with both Tom and with me. So what an honor. I thank you, Sandy, for such a great job. It's also a tremendous honor to represent my dear brother, Tom. But really though, I have only 6 or 7 minutes because we're both doing this, Tom and I. So I thought I'd talk about myself first because if I talked about Tom with his distinguished background in football, basketball, and baseball, there'd be no time left for me in 6 or 7 minutes. He would have loved that logic. He would have absolutely loved that logic, and we would laugh together because we always laughed, which is the basis of our relationship. As our family knows, we always used to razz Tom that he was a brother from another mother. So tonight I have the unique privilege and opportunity to set the record straight. Transparency is so important in this next couple of minutes. I want to direct all of you to the program on your tables. When you look at the program, I want you to just put your finger over the hair on my head and see if we really aren't truly brothers. Now, what used to happen, and this is a true story, my father would drop Tom off at the barbershop on North Main Street on a given Saturday. And he would proceed to take me down to, yes, the ABC Beauty Parlor on North Main Street. By the time Tom finished his zip haircut and walked over to the beauty parlor, yes, my pompadour had been fed and was ready to go into curlers. How Bob Sylvester ever let me on the court with that pompadour, I'll never know. And it plagues me today. Roger Ratchford and Jack used to have some hair too. My first day at prep, I thought, was so meaningful that I wanted to share it with you. I too have in my talk, sum est, sum est sunt, but that was at 10 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I had the privilege of being in Father Deavy's homeroom. Father Deavy was a great, great man. And the first thing he said was, "Lyddy, is there a guy in here named Lyddy? Stand up." I stood up. He said, "What are you?" And I looked at him with a quizzical look, and he knew I was struggling for an answer. He said, "What are you?" with lots of irritation this time. So I sheepishly answered with a rhetorical question, "A boy?" He said, "No." He said, "Lyddy, you are a freshman, and there is nothing in this world, on this great earth, lower than a freshman. Sit down." "No, stand up," he said. I remember this vividly. He said, "Do you know what jug is?" I said, "No, I don't, Father." "You will soon enough. Sit down." Great man, Father Davy. I remember that day vividly and relived it so many times, and with a great sense of humility. So when I sat back to think about what I might say tonight about Fairfield Prep and what it has meant to all 3 brothers, Tom, Peter, who was a class of 70 and a member of that 1969 basketball team, and he lives in Florida right now and is going to be coming up for a wedding in 2 weeks for Tom's wedding for Kyle Lyddy, Tom's youngest son, and me, so the three brothers, Tom, Peter, and me, I know we're all on the same page. I know that because we talk about this often, service for others, as we witnessed in the truly great men who were our teachers, mentors, coaches, servant leaders, and spiritual and practical role models. You see, I say this because Tom and I would always talk about such giants as Father Eugene Brissett, with his rosary beads, constantly obvious to those who revered him. Bob Sylvester, whose integrity, discipline, and leadership, both in the classroom and on the basketball court, were just monumental in helping us to understand the Jesuit values. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not talk about, as others have, the great Joe Brosley, and what Joe Brosley meant to Tom and me. Joe Brosley had a tremendous verve as a mathematician for philosophy. He had a great perspective on the moment of the game and the philosophical approach. And while he wasn't always right with the moment of the sport, he was always right in his philosophy on life and what he taught us about sportsmanship, integrity, competitiveness, etc. He was truly a great, great man. As I thought further about what I wanted to say tonight, I asked Tom's wife, Sally, and their 5 children, Kara, Katie, Chris, Kyle, and Ryan, my nieces and nephews, all of whom are here tonight, what they would want me to say about Tom. Well, as you can imagine, the emails just kept coming in, and they were just tremendous in spirit and love. Although I'm not able to use all of them tonight, I thought I would share with you a few perspectives that they shared with me. As my dad's health was declining, he had several visitors at his home in Newtown. 39 years after graduating from Fairfield Prep, he had many of his prep teammates coming to say goodbye during his final dying days. It is a true testament to both prep and its culture, as well as to my dad, regarding the strength of the prep community and the strong friendships made here through academics, but especially through athletics. And another comment, Tom was always doing something to help people, and no one knew how much he helped people. That was the way he wanted it. Finally, I had heard from many people that my dad was a great, great athlete, but I experienced firsthand that he was also a truly great person. And I would be remiss again if I did not share with you that while Tom and I are being recognized tonight, our brother Peter is the only one among the 3 of us who played on a prep championship team, that legendary Bob Sylvester, Jim Fitzsimmons team of 1969, state championship team. Peter lives in Florida and will be coming up for Kyle's wedding in 2 weeks, so couldn't be here tonight. But our sisters, Maureen Mulligan and Kathy Sullivan, are here tonight. And I mention them because both of them went to Notre Dame and had to put up with incredible ridicule as we beat their brains out time after time. It was fun, right, Coach? It was fun. And then finally, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, with Ryan Lyddy, Tom's oldest son, who is now Prep's soccer coach and has won 100 victories faster than any other soccer coach in Prep. Finally, I leave you with a thought that I think about all the time. Some people think that this next quote from Samuel Clemens is funny. I think it's profound. And it's something that I think about all the time, and I challenge you to take this tonight with you and think about it if it fits for you. Samuel Clemens said, "What are the two greatest days in your life?" The rhetorical answer was, the first greatest day is the day you were born. The second greatest day is the day you find out why. Not very funny, but really profound. Fairfield Prep makes an enormous contribution to helping young men understand why they were born, to help the human condition wherever they are. In some, it might take years to understand Prep's role in our lives, but Tom and I were really blessed to understand it early on and are very fortunate in that regard. So in closing, I want to thank the committee for this award on behalf of Tom and myself. Thank the incredible faculty of Fairfield Prep who helped Tom and me live inspired lives by all things Jesuit. I am truly humbled and proud to be a part of this athletic Hall of Fame, and I know that Tom would also be incredibly grateful. Thank you.